I think the news that I was happy to be greeted by today has to do with my favorite corrupt Supreme Court justice, and that is the great Clarence Thomas, everyone.
I come from regular stock.
Regular stock that is regularly showered with luxurious trips, with luxurious recreational vehicle type buses, whose mom was given a home by a mega donor named Harlan Crow, who actually had business before the court. Clarence Thomas is completely corrupt. Undeclared gifts, many from Crow, some from others. Flights, vacations, school fees, and I mentioned the property. So Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island, who's a member of the Judiciary Committee, and if you don't follow Sheldon Whitehouse on YouTube, I recommend that you do, because he lays it out white, erase board by a white, what is that? What's it called,
Whiteboard?
Albert?
A whiteboard?
A whiteboard by whiteboard, thank you.
No.
And he really lays out the track of money and the utter corruption of the court generally. I mean, you should watch White House to see the way that the courts beyond the Supreme Court, the federal judiciary is filled with this kind of corruption. And you see the flow of dark money. And White House does a great job of, scoping it out and drawing it out. Cabo Jeff, how about a big shout out for Cabo Jeff?
I love the
with
name.
With a $5
big
super
shout out.
sticker. First into the super sticker game today is Cabo Jeff, everybody.
Big shout out.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's on the beach. With a
Anyway,
margarita.
the Rhode Island senator and Ron Wyden of Oregon, chair of the Senate Finance Committee, they released a letter to the Attorney General. The weak-ass Attorney General that we have, Merrick Garland, who I'll remind you slow-walked the appointment of a special prosecutor, took 2 years to appoint a special prosecutor in the case of Trump in J6 and everything else. You know how I feel about Merrick Garland, but in case you were unclear or forgetting, I thought I would just underscore it for you. Merrick Garland is trash. He's so, last thing I'll say, because I don't mean to just, ad hominem attack him that way with just calling him a name. He's so overly concerned with the appearance of political favoritism that he literally craps on his own party and lets the other party get away with whatever they want. That's what that 2-year wait was. So he's obsessed with not being called political. And then this just in, Merrick Garland, and let me say, Luis, big shout out. And thank you for the Clarence Thomas, everything, including him, must go on the super chat. The last thing I would say to you, Merrick Garland, because you're so worried about currying favor with the GOP, because you don't want to be seen as a political toady like the last administration. Their attorney general was clearly a political toady for Trump. But you're so obsessed with it that you're actually allowing any number of things to happen without investigations, without any kind of aggressive prosecution. So you're thinking, well, this is great, though. At least I have this appearance of political neutrality, et cetera, and I'm restoring the Justice Department, whatever crap you're telling yourself. Guess what? They name you, baby. They name you in the top 3 of guys they're going to go after when they take over. Yeah. Trump and the GOP.
It didn't matter how careful he looked. He's still on the list. Yeah.
Exactly.
And they still, no matter how careful he was, pointed fingers and said they've weaponized the Department of Justice.
Exactly. So, Merrick, you not only are awful, but you have wildly miscalculated the way that you're viewed by the other side. You're not viewed as even-handed. You're just viewed as another henchman of Biden's, and they're going to treat you that way. All right, back to Clarence Thomas. If Merrick Garland responds to these entreaties by members of the Judiciary Committee, White House is on the Judiciary Committee, Wyden's on the Finance Committee. But anyway, these are high-profile Democrats. They cite evidence, this is a quote, of repeated and willful omissions of gifts and income from Justice Thomas's financial disclosure reports. The scale of Thomas's potential ethics violations and the willful pattern of disregard for ethics laws more than meet the level of generally required by the Department of Justice to investigate. They also cite, quote, the serious possibility of additional tax fraud and false statement violations by Justice Thomas and his associates.
Is that because you have to pay taxes on luxury gifts like, I don't know,
sure,
massive house mansions?
Sure. Talk to the Price is Right winners. Those guys who win those big showcase showdown things.
Yeah.
They get taxed on it. Some of them don't even want it because the tax is, so.
Well, is there a difference between a winning and a gift?
No, they're both gifts. The closest thing we have to a Price is Right show case winner on the Supreme Court is Clarence Thomas, everybody. He's our Price is Right. And whatever the price is, it's right with him. Anyway, I don't know that, in fact, I kind of do know that Garland won't open the investigation. He won't respond to the requests. We'll ask John Rothman, but I'm almost certain of it. Because he doesn't want to be seen as pursuing a political agenda. But, and opening a criminal investigation into a sitting Supreme Court justice, that is, But I'll remind you, John Roberts, the Chief Justice, won't testify in Congress about the ethics problems at the Supreme Court, so you've got a really defiant court to begin with. I'll talk to Rothman about it bottom of the hour, but that's the latest on the Supreme Court. And maybe, and as you know, I think they should have been talking about the Supreme Court all the time, every day, every hour. The Supreme Court is not only changing law, they're making policy. I'm trying to look at this at the same time I'm talking. Locomotion, and right after I compliment Biden's administration, I have to admit Mark is 100% correct about Merrick Garland. Yeah, I mean, it just is sad, but it's true. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.